What's up, YouTube people? Welcome to another episode of the Saltwater Remix. I want to give a shout out to Max Hydro because I can't type in any comments. Google forces me to have an account with them in order to leave comments, and I'm extremely lazy. I don't want to go through that hassle. So I am making video recognition footage about that comment. I'm going to keep this live rock setup as is, but I am going to get probably a couple of more pieces to fill up these gaps on the top of these rocks to make it more flush and keep the other half free. So there is a lot more room for the fish to freely roam around. And I am going to have all little tiny fish from now on. And this way I can get more fish, and I know they won't get any bigger than that. Okay, I have removed the protein skimmer as well as all of the water. It is dry, and I also have secured that leak that is no longer. They didn't have clear, so I had black silicone aquarium sealant. And I also installed that other panel that will react as a bubble trap as well as a water guide for the protein skimmer. Now we're going to be putting this into the sump filter, and we are going to test out those leaks as well as the new installation of the panel that I have just installed. Okay, it was not a success. There was a pinhole leak within inside of this corner right here, but I have put a glob of silicone sealant over that pinhole, and it has stopped the leaking. Yes, I do know that it needs to be a dry surface for the glue to cure properly. It seems to be doing the job, and this will be a slower process because that pinhole leak is still leaking within inside of that glob of glue that I have just put. But the outside surface is going to dry a lot more faster than the inside because it's not going to become wet. Or maybe due time it will become moist, but the leak will cease to exist. Since I have no patience for this glue to cure, I have waited a couple of seconds to like 45 minutes, right? I want to put my water in because, once again, I have no patience to see what happens. So I threw on some Weldon 16. This is all in theory right now. This with the silicone sealant, which is a type of plastic rubber, And this turns into like acrylic with the two fusing together right now. It's gonna melt itself into the silicone sealant, which is a type of rubber plastic, and cure it a lot faster than 24 hours. Because this Weld-On 16 agent, it dries within seconds. Okay, what you are seeing now is the indication of my theory that was a success. As you could see for yourself. Here's other angles of that refugium showing that that water has been replenished. When you use the Weld-On 16, do not use it on other than acrylic or plastic. Purpose is only because it will begin to peel off and ruin the particular project that you are currently trying to construct. This is what you use to establish or construct your acrylic tanks. There is also a liquid application that will actually melt plastic, not melt it entirely, although that it does to plastic cups melted entirely, but it will leave burn stains on the plastic. It will become one piece. Unfortunately, I have sprang another leak on this side where you see that dot right there. That is Teflon. I had a pinhole leak just like over here. I stuck that Teflon in there. Then I threw on globs of glue. I did not want to drain out all the water, and it was very successful. Just like I envisioned, if there was enough glue, the inside is going to be moist, but eventually it will cure over time. But the surface, the outer surface, will cure even faster than the inner, because the inner contains the leak and the outer is just air. So it will do what it naturally does. That piece of Teflon that you see is to prevent that leak, or to give it time to cure the inner. And for this side, we'll need more work on the spot you are looking at right now, because there was a gaping hole that is located underneath this black silicone sealant, and I didn't want to cut a new panel. So what I'm going to do is cover that hole with globs of silicone, and by doing this, eventually nothing will go through it. This piece right here, what you are seeing is it transformed into like sort of an elbow. This piece right here goes straight and then it curves. I have put the Weld-On 16 around it, Teflon and silicone sealant to give it extra support. Well, I have not tested this out at the moment, but eventually it will be. I just want to put on record that the water in the tank has been stagnant for at least 2 months and a half. Yes, I know this is extremely bad and torturous to the fish as well, But as you could see, my Blenny has survived through some serious stuff that has been happening, which is the tank draining out completely, plus the stagnant water. And by doing this, I have discovered that I have little tiny specks crawling on the glass. I don't know whether this is parasitic to the tank or beneficial, but I had these organisms before in my 25-gallon because I did not have any protein skimmer at all. I was extremely new to the hobby, and I was 11 years old when I first started. All I knew how to do was put in new fresh water once it evaporates. Alright, I have established all of these leaks from this panel to this one, and now we can finally add this water and get this tank back to its original state. I have filled up the sump, and now I am going to plug this Rio 1400 in for the very first time. There it goes once more. It has not lifted the hinge, but the water seems to be going through it perfectly fine. And we're going to see this tank fill up and the overflow. All I need is a tiny bit more water because the water is starting to go into the overflow box, as you could see. I'm going to have to shut this off now. Let's see what happens. Alright, I shut it off. The check valve better be doing its thing, or I'm going to be very pissed off. It appears that it is doing its thing. I don't have to worry about that hinge closing. But I speak too soon. We will soon find out. It has been a couple of minutes already, and the water has not drained out of the tank into the sump. The water has increased because I have just added new fresh water to get this tank up and functional once again. Alright, everything seems to be working excellent. Alright, the overflow is overflowing in through this pipe, which the slurping noise will soon to be established, in through the refugium, out of the bubble tower, baffling over into the chamber with the protein skimmer perfectly. Right. And through and into, baffling over into the bubble trap, perfectly leveled, in and out, and to and through the Rio 1400 check valve, this pipe, and into this display. Now I will be turning on this protein skimmer So the level of the water in this chamber will slightly decrease because that colander needs to get filled up from the water with the sump. Alright, the protein skimmer has been activated. It's going to make lovely micro bubbles and skimmate for me because like I have said previously, the water inside of the display tank has been stagnant for at least 2.5 months or more. So I have identified ammonia forming within the display tank because my fish suddenly was swimming on its side, not as normal. And there has been that slight decrease within the water column in this chamber. I have water on standby. Now I will be turning on the heater as well as the power head. This is what has occurred. All of this stuff. I will be turning on the UV sterilizer as well now to capture all of those dust particles within the middle that are floating in the system that has settled over time because there was no flotation, and it will bring it into the overflow. The fish are scared because they don't know what's happening. It's like a hurricane in there all of a sudden. But now this tank should be back to normal within 3 days. So this concludes another episode of the Saltwater Remix. Stay tuned for those future episodes. From with your live rock, your tank, your fish, all your accessories, your equipment. Let everything be awesome. And I'll see you later. This is going to be a first experience for the both of us. I do not know what this is going to do at all. Dick. Did absolutely fucking dick.